Yo, 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 yo. You know what this is, man. It's your boys, Jay Slay. This is your favorite channel, CTB, Chan Talk Boxing. So what up to him, man?
What's up, everybody? Remember to like, subscribe, hit notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel growing. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing.
That's a fact, most definitely. This is the place where the fight fans come to get delicious entrees of boxing knowledge. What's on the menu for him today, bro?
Let's talk about this Canelo and Dela Hoya situation. And Dela Hoya pretty much saying that he actually did Canelo duck Charlo. And how do we feel about it? And what do we think?
Man, let's do it. Let's talk about it. Yeah, man, Dela Hoya, he looking like a salty man. Like he's salty that he lost his cash cow, man. That's what it seems like to me. And now he's doing like what any other diva would do. That is snitch on their ex. He's pretty much snitching on his ex. Now that he's single again, and now he's trying to talk bad about his ex. I'm gonna be honest, man. I like the new Canelo, man. I like the new English speaking, shit talking Canelo Alvarez, man. He seemed to have dropped that golden boy image, and now he's been the funny guy that I knew he was going to be at one point. I knew he had it in him when he fought Floyd. When I seen how he treated Floyd, I knew Canelo had a little bit of gangster in him. But now that he's not with Golden Boy anymore, he's starting to pull it out of him a little bit, which I kind of appreciate. But man, what do you? Let's start with the top story, which is the Charlos. You really agree with De La Hoya that Canelo ducked the Charlos, or you think Oscar had something to do with it?
Yeah, I think Oscar has something to do with it. I think Canelo ain't scared of nobody. He put his trust in De La Hoya, and De La Hoya guided his career. And of course, you're gonna go with, especially if that's your cash cow. And if you think about it, that's all he pretty much had. So he really couldn't risk Canelo losing. So him fighting Charlo was like a high risk, kind of mid reward kind of fight. So he saw that he can get him more or just as lucrative fights and not as high as a risk. So I understood what De La Hoya was doing, but I think it's kind of a bitch move to kind of throw it on Canelo now. Now that he's not with you, now you're trying to make it seem like he was the one that was saying he didn't want to fight him. Now, of course, if you just look through the history of the situation, as far as him getting a franchise belt and kind of, ducking, the Charlos from 154 all the way up to 168. Now, who fault it is, I don't know. But like I said, if I had to pick somebody, I would say it was De La Hoya's fault, because I believe that when it comes to fighters, I don't think they're scared to fight nobody, really. And I really believe now that he's not with De La Hoya, I really think him and Charlo going to fight next year. So I'm still going to hold hope on that fight. I think Plant is next, but I think for some reason, I think in May of 2022, I think it is going to be Charlo. So I'm kind of happy De La Hoya said it, because like you said, with this new Canelo, he kind of got this new swag and kind of like he said what he want to say. So I think he's going to take it. I think he's a competitive guy. So he's going to take it as, a swipe at him from De La Hoya. And he's going to say, okay, I'm going to beat Plant and I'm going to beat Charlo ass. And then I'm going to come back and laugh at you because you thought this was the guy I was ducking, right? So I'm interested in it. It's only stirring up that fight a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree, man. And like you said earlier, I don't think it was Canelo's fault. I think Canelo would have fought anybody. I think De La Hoya was a promoter. A promoter's job is to lay out the options on the table, offer a price for each of them, and then let fighter choose once for them to fight. So if I'm Canelo and you say, yeah, you can fight Charlo for $100,000, but you can go ahead and fight Amir Khan. Amir Khan has a name. You can make a good $3 to $4 million with Amir Khan. If I'm Canelo, of course I'm gonna take the $3 to $4 million to fight Amir Khan. Why would I? If the promoter presented it to me like that, I'm gonna do what the highest pay is. This is the promoter job to give me the most money. So for De La Hoya to come out now and say that he was running from the Charlos, it only shows that you was running from the Charlos. You was trying to keep him from the Charlos. You was his promoter. So I don't understand what De La Hoya was trying to prove by trying to do that. And he was pretty much critiquing Canelo's weaknesses, like, oh, he's flat-footed and he hops on his heels and he throw hooks with his head straight up and all that stuff that people see on film anyway. But De La Hoya, you did some of the same things when you was a fighter. Like you had flaws that Floyd took advantage of and Shane Moses took advantage of. So to me, like I said to start off the show, man, he just sounded like a salty ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend who lost their lover. That's what it sounded like to me. De La Hoya is known to be a substance abuser of women and abused of himself because Canelo came back with a clap back. Told me, and I quote, "Do me a favor and go fuck yourself." And you put a picture of a spoon, some pots and pans and knives and all that. If you remember back in the day, man, it was a rumor that Dela Hoya was blackmailed by prostitutes because they had pictures of him pretty much, fucking himself with spoons and spatulas and all that. So for Canelo to say, "You want me to start talking? I'm gonna start talking," and then post that. It's hilarious to me, man.
I tell you what though, he got quiet though after that. so apparently he didn't want to go down that road.
Yeah, he thought twice about it after that. Like, cause it was funny when I first read it. First thing Canelo tweeted out was, "You really want me to start talking?" And like 20 minutes later or so, he posted that. He said, "Do me a favor, go fuck yourself," and he put all them things. And I hear shit. You hear from shit from Dela Hoya since, bro. So I think Dela Hoya thought twice about it, man. He got too many skeletons, man. He got too many skeletons to be fucking with Canelo, and for Canelo to be with him as long as he's been with him, and Canelo put up with a lot of shit, even the part when I think one of the Floyd fight that De La Hoya couldn't come to. I think it was a Floyd fight. He didn't because he was in rehab or something.
Yeah.
So Canelo know a lot of shit. So for De La Hoya to be poking that bear, I don't see why.
And made a lot of money for him.
Made the most money for him. Like no other fighter other than possibly Floyd. When he fought Floyd, is probably the only person he made the most money out of. Okay, at one point Floyd was co-promoting with them at one point. Like he was fighting nothing but Golden Boy fighters, and it was on events together. And that's how Canelo pretty much got his name. Canelo got his name on Mayweather's undercards, and then fought Mayweather. So they built Canelo, and now that Canelo is at a point where he can fend for himself and choose where he want to go, and he's tired of being led by somebody like De La Hoya. Now he's salty. It's sad, man. I'm just gonna be like that.
It's good. I mean, I know we about to get out of here, but that's a good point you made that Canelo pulled away. I really think we talked about this earlier. I think that's a trend that's gonna continue in boxing, and it's gonna be good for boxing. That I think we're gonna slowly start cutting the promoters out for the most part. And once you cut the promoters out, us getting these big fights is gonna be a lot more easier to make. So I'm starting to see a trend with some of these bigger fighters, and they're starting to understand that they don't need a promoter. They can be their own promoter and promote their own fights, like you said. So I hope it continues to go in that trend, because for us boxing fans, it's gonna be better because we're gonna get more fights made a little bit easier.
Yeah, I think, but the promoters are getting wise too. The promoters are starting to realize, these fighters can promote themselves. So now the promoters are getting the TV deals, which is why, like, when it comes to Eddie Hearn with DAZN. So Canelo had to sign with Eddie Hearn because he wanted that DAZN contract. That's how promoters are getting smart now. Promoters are trying to get the TV spots and the TV deal. And I think that fucked Oscar De La Hoya up, because he was the odd man out. Oscar De La Hoya didn't have a TV deal no more. Once Showtime canceled him and went to PBC, it left De La Hoya looking for a place to go, and he went to the DAZN, and then DAZN stole Canelo from Golden Boy. So by De La Hoya not having a TV deal, he now signed with Thriller, because Thriller is supposed to be the next coming home of boxing, quote unquote. But they're more so gimmicky fights now. So I don't see Thriller being a hub for boxing. So De La Hoya might be the odd man out and be the next promoter to actually fall through the abyss, man. This is a whole nother video, but I think also I think Top Rank is next, man. I think once Bob Burnham is finally gone and finally resting in peace, by him being 90 years old, I don't see him having nobody like. He's not like Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn's father was. Eddie Hearn's father retired and then gave his son the reins, and now Eddie Hearn running Matchroom. I don't see nobody doing it with Bob Burnham. I don't see him having like a protege, quote unquote, to run his day to day. I see Bob Burnham still doing the work, so I think Top Rank might be out of that soon also. But it's another topic. We'll make a video about that one day. You have anything else you want to add to this topic about Canelo Alvarez shit talking his old boss?
No, I think we covered it all for right now.
With that being said, this is CTB. This is Chan Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Cut him out of here, man.
All right, everybody. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel growing. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing. Logo at the bottom of the screen. Just click on it and subscribe. But most of all, God, peace, and love. And we out of here.